Hey there, today we're talking about, yes, the Rolling Stone article, Kathleen Kennedy. Let's get depressed. Oh, I don't think it's depression. Hi, this is Tom with Tom's Tech Show. I just think it's a pile of lies, a pile of, backpedaling, a pile of CYA, and all that, right? I just don't, I don't think she has a grasp on what fans are doing or what fans are thinking in any way. She doesn't really understand or know what Star Wars is, all of that. So, and it kind of comes out in this article. But before I get started, let me just say, if you have a small channel that you like and you watch all the time, make sure to like, share, and subscribe to that channel and hit the notification on that channel. If you like my channel, and for sure, I'd appreciate you just subscribing and liking and sharing all that stuff. But all of your small channels that are out there, just make sure you do that, because YouTube and the changes that are coming are really going to put the small channels in a hard way to maintain and be able to be even possibly on YouTube at all. May not even be able to be there. So do that, help them out, and costs you nothing. So be kind, right? You used to say back in the videotape days, be kind, rewind. Be kind, share, and like. All right. Well, here's the article, right, that we're looking at. The Lucasfilm Kennedy on Rise of Skywalker and Future of Star Wars and the almost dead Star Wars. Okay. Well, I want to get that picture off the screen because that gags me a bit. So here we go. Lucasfilm president, maybe the most powerful woman, most propped up, most overly supported, most self-aggrandized woman in Hollywood. But, of course, she's not a newcomer to blockbuster serving Steven Spielberg's producer on E.T., extended partner into collaborations with Indiana Jones with George Lucas. And basically, when Steven Spielberg or George Lucas was going to do something amazing, it was, here, Kathleen, hold my beer. That's what she was there for. That's all that I can see in her experience, especially when it comes to things like Star Wars. Okay, so here we say Kennedy needed every ounce of her experience, never hesitating to swap out creative teams, even mid-movie when necessary. So, to me, if you're having to swap out creative teams, that means you have no idea what you're doing, right? If you can't come up with and go through the process of being able to pick the correct team, the right team for what you are doing, then you're just a bad manager. You don't know how, by the time you get halfway through filming a movie, if you have to fire somebody who's directing that film, that's just bad management. You don't know how to pick a team. You don't know how to have conversations that are driving a film or anything in the right direction. It's not any kind of challenge or, oh, it's wonderfully daring or any crap like that. It's like, no, you're bad management. That's what that all comes down to. And so this, I guess, was in October, 2 weeks before Game of Thrones. Benioff and D.B. Weiss pulled out of a year-old deal. So you have people now running away from you. Wow, maybe you should get a clue. So she came there to discuss Rise of Skywalker. Okay, so here's come down to the questions. Okay, so Jurassic World director Colin Trevorrow was slated to write and direct episode 9 before J.J. Abrams came in. Why? Because Kennedy has no control over everything. She has no idea what she's doing. She doesn't know how to manage or move Star Wars along the right path. So she's got to keep switching these people out because somebody disagrees with her and the messages that she wants isn't there. So she's saying, is this the final entry in the trilogy? Was a particularly hard nut to crack? Well, here we go. Every one of these movies is a particularly hard nut to crack. So right there, she's already backtracking. She's all like, wow, these things are so hard. I just can't do it. Oh, no. She says there's no source material. We don't have comic books. We don't have 800-page novels. No source material. Let's look for Star Wars books. Oh, wait. Oh, look at all these books. Look at these boxes of books. Oh, look, more books. Shelves and shelves of books. Tons of comics. Oh my gosh, look at all those shelves. That's got to be at least 200 to 300 books. That is amazing. Where did all these books come from? Oh, but there's no source material. They don't have any of that. Did you forget all that stuff? Oh, that's right. They went through the process when they took it over to completely dismiss all of the expanded universe. That's on them. That's not on us. And just because you dismissed it doesn't mean you can't go back and understand what was in it and find the things that worked and bring that back into the movies. Really? You can't do that? Lie. That is 1,000. We're going to mark this back to red. If this computer comes back, I'm going to mark this to red because that is a complete and out beyond lie. It says we don't have anything other than passionate storytellers. No, you don't have anything other than agenda people who get together and talk about what the iteration might be. Whatever. So we go through a really normal development process that everybody else does. You start filmmaking, start talking to filmmakers who you think exhibit the sensibilities that you're looking for. Well, obviously they don't, or you're not doing a good enough research since you've had to get rid of so many directors, right? And get rid of so many people. Obviously, you're not doing a good job at you're not asking the right questions. You're not understanding that. Or they go off and make a movie and you say, wait, we have to have this identity politic thing in here. Why aren't you putting that in here? I need this. I need these SJW messages. I need all this. And they're not doing it. So you got to fire them because your message isn't coming through. So she's argued that sometimes people get involved in a development process. They realize, oh my God, this is so much more than I ever imagined. No, I mean, making any movie is a lot, right? All these pieces that have to come together. But if you're hiring the wrong people, if you're unable to manage people and put the right person into the right job, once again, this is a leadership issue. If you can't do that, then you're the wrong person for the job. Okay, so here we go. I feel fortunate that I've worked with so many great people and have been absolutely committed, like JJ being one of them. He's a huge fan, incredibly passionate about Star Wars. Even though you had to coax him back with, what, $500,000, $500 million to get him to come back? Yeah, that's not too... I don't know how committed you are about that. Once you get the money, sure. He's been, from the moment that he and I sat down, started talking about this, the more he got involved, the more excited he became. So I think if you ask him today, he's probably wished he'd been in a situation where he could have done all three. Why was he not in a situation where he could have done all three? Could that have been the leadership of Star Wars? Oh, I think it was. I think you, as the head leader of the entire Star Wars franchise, could have said, I really like what you did on this movie. I'm going to have you get rid of everybody. I'm going to have you do all of them. And we'll just pay you what you need. Because we got billions coming in when you're directing. And maybe wait a little while between each one. Okay, so what strikes... So now that we're still talking about the Rise of Skywalker here. So I need to select this person's name and do a search on it, because we're going to go to IMDb. So what strikes you about how he and his co-writer, Chris Terrio, let's go back to here. Come on. Chris Terrio did to manage to crack the nut on this one. So Chris is a very thoughtful, intelligent guy that JJ chose, and we all got to know. And again, we went through so much of we often go through with endless discussion, blah, 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 all that stuff. So let's go see, what has Chris Terrio done? Okay, almost nothing. Never heard of Book of Kings, never heard of that. I did see Argo. Argo was kind of based off of real life events, so it's a little bit hard to screw up. Oh, wait, Batman v Superman, one of the most hated of the DC movies that I've seen because of how, again, taking a main character and disrespecting them and turning into something they're not, namely Superman, who no one appreciated that or liked that or wanted that at all. So, maybe that's bad. Oh, Justice League. What a pile of crap that was. continues to be a pile of crap, continues to be a mustache problem, continues to be, oh, let's get to the end and have to completely remake, half of the movie because our test screenings were garbage. Oh, wait. Rise of Skywalker completely made the entire movie. And because of rumored test screenings being so bad, people walking out because the film is garbage, it seems like he's on a pattern. Garbage movie, garbage movie, garbage movie. I'm sure Justice League Part 2 will again be a garbage movie. So you're not doing much to help me by saying that, ooh, wow, Chris Terrio is so wonderful. Nothing I've seen. Nothing the public has seen. So, here we go. Not only just looking at the movies, but talking with a number of people that are still around that work with George Lucas for years, understanding the mythology that he created. No, I think you've shown that the characters and things that he created, you have deliberately driven into the ground and destroyed. You've not done anything to help them. One of these things we talk about all the time is the fact that it was very important to George for these stories to really meant something, that they have something to say. I think what George was probably saying is, they have something that I want to say, that I made these movies for my kids, that I wanted these to be enjoyable for the whole family. Not social justice messaging, not identity politics. I don't think that's what he meant to say. So, when you're dealing, as I said, with something where you don't necessarily... my tab just collapsed. Restore the tab. Let's get back here. Okay. And my bookmarks are gone. There they go. Okay, when you're dealing, as I said, with something where you don't necessarily have any source material, again, the lie. Where's the source material? All over the place. Source material, okay, anywhere. Hey, Kathleen Kennedy, you have this guy, okay, he created Star Wars, right? He made stories that you could actually go and probably ask him about, right? Say, George, what do you think about this? But no, you didn't do that. You just say, oh, George, whatever, you're gone. How did you get to the point where you felt that we got this story of episode 9? Well, I would say you never get to a point where you just go, that's it. It's a constant evolving process. It means we have no idea what we're doing. I'm such a horrible manager of this project that I have to pick people at random who don't do what I want, then fire them and bring other people in, who then bring other people in who have no idea what they're doing. And then eventually it's just a big pile of poo. So that's the constantly evolving process. Way to go. So Rian Johnson, oh joy, the Rian Johnson loop here, made some controversial choices in episode 8, Last Jedi. Especially considering his dramatic person, the second movie, blah, 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 whatever. She said, well, he definitely did. We're talking all the time about how we move Star Wars forward and how we keep it relevant. Keep it relevant for Star Wars or keep it relevant for your current SJW identity politic narrative? I'm thinking it's the latter. Obviously, you don't want to just keep making the same movie over and over again. Then why have you kept making the same movie over and over? And bad movies. And of course, she has to say, I love what Ryan did. It's an absolutely wonderful movie. Well, there's two people, Ryan and her. Okay. Because anybody else that works for Lucasfilm and the ones that I know that work for Disney have to say that it was a good movie. Otherwise, they lose their jobs. Yeah, that's a way to foster good morale in your company. Oh, and he thinks he's an extraordinary filmmaker. So Knives Out is coming out, I don't know, this weekend or next weekend or something. I don't know. The special opening show ahead of time, special fan preview thing, I think has 20 seats in the entire theater sold in my area, and the other shows I think had 2 or 3 seats sold. So yeah, extraordinary if you want box office bombs. Okay, there you go. And here we go. Here we go. We're getting here. I love that we have these amazingly passionate fans who care so much. If this isn't just an outright blatant lie, I mean, after The Force Awakens and especially after The Last Jedi, how many employees attacked fans and how many employees of Lucasfilm ridiculed fans and just came after fans. No, you don't care because that flows down from leadership. If you're the leader of this company, you need to know what your employees are doing. If they're attacking fans and people who pay money to go see your films, you don't want that to happen. You need to shut that down from the beginning, before it even happens. Company mandate, any interaction with any person who goes to see these films, who says they're a fan or anything else, must be done with the utmost respect. That doesn't happen with Kathleen Kennedy. And I know, I think sometimes we don't listen, but we do. No, you don't. Another lie. Otherwise, things would have gotten better. But no, Force Awakens was okay. I could have taken it as it was for an intro back into this world. Rogue One was an okay side movie. All right, fine, do that. The Last Jedi, complete crap. Don't even bother looking at me. Don't even bother coming at me with that. It's the worst movie. I think it's a toss-up, which is worse. The Last Jedi or Solo, because then that was the next one. 100% identity politics, 100% social justice messaging, all that completely all through that film, and no one wanted to see it. It was a complete dump. So obviously you're not listening, because after The Last Jedi, everyone was screaming, stop doing this, stop doing this, stop doing this, get back to real Star Wars, get back to real Star Wars. And never happened, didn't do it. So certainly whatever movie comes out of this, it's unconnected to the Skywalker saga. What are your thoughts on it? It's an incredible challenge, something that we're in the middle of, and I can't even begin to tell you where this may end up because you don't know. You're just meandering around. So how did Marvel's Kevin Feige come into the mix? Of course, they go through that a little bit, and it's a ways off. Okay, fine. So how have you thought about how much longer you like to keep doing what you're doing? I'm really enjoying destroying Star Wars, I have to say. It's been really exciting crapping on all the fans and making sure that they hate everything that I do. Sorry. That was what I said. There was a section in here where, in one of the other articles, because she says, I really enjoy this, I have to say, incredible. It's just the fact that George asked me to do this. She felt a responsibility stepping in. Another lie. Says what happens in the future and how much longer. We're all hoping once her contract runs out in 2020 that she's going to be gone. So thanks to Bob Iger's new book, we know that George Lucas' dissatisfaction with The Force Awakens. What are your feelings? She just says, he just can't let go. Where it's difficult letting go watching what it became something different. So it's George's problem. He's just a whiny crybaby that he doesn't like how we're destroying what he took his whole life to create. Yeah, I would be too. Said he may not agree with every choice JJ made. He may not agree with every choice Ryan made, but he appreciates the filmmaking. That I know. Okay, so right there, that says he hates everything that we've done so far. But he enjoys the filmmaking, right? He enjoys how the films are made, the process. He doesn't enjoy what you're doing. George was always better technology, get out in front of everybody else, do things before anybody else, make sure you can, have the best visual effects, the best everything. Do things that people aren't doing and go ahead of it. That's what made, ILM, right? So, and he appreciates, for instance, ILM. Well, of course he's going to appreciate that. That was his company that he used to create all these incredible special effects before anybody else, did things before everybody else. Of course, he hates all of the films that you're doing. So now he came down, for instance, to The Mandalorian to see what we were doing. He worked for a long time with director Dave Filoni, and he known series creator Jon Favreau, and he was just a little kid on that set watching what we were doing, seeing get caught up in things this again. I think it was a little bit of a regret that he's not in the stage directing movies and in it still. No, I think it's because he saw that Filoni and Favreau, were actually getting back to real Star Wars and stopping all of the other garbage. So of course he's going to be excited. Wow, somebody who's not destroying my vision. So they asked him if George could be lured back, and he said no, he's doing something else in this article. And we also have seen some news maybe that Jon Favreau might be taking over Lucasfilm, which, I mean, so now you have Kevin Feige possibly doing a Star Wars film. You have Jon Favreau possibly moving over. Do you see a theme here that Marvel works because Marvel pays attention to and pays respect to all in general? I mean, they take some liberty in a lot of the story and things like that, but they don't completely destroy characters. I mean, the Thor character was a humorous thing, but he was still kind of Thor, right? He still became Thor and, fought like Thor and all that in the end. But it wasn't what they did to, like, Luke, where they just made him some stupid, grumpy old disrespect. I can't even believe the disrespect there. So I think Jon Favreau and Kevin Feige are people who kind of more understand what fans want, and that's what we're going to bring in. So let's start moving all these crazy, don't know anything about Star Wars people out, and start moving people from a system that is working over into Star Wars to try and keep it going. If I were a manager, then that's what I would do. I would take these things work, you don't work, so let's start moving the things that work over to the things that do work. If I were Bob Iger, that's what I would be doing. I would have gotten rid of Kathleen Kennedy after The Last Jedi. She would have been, nope, not doing that anymore. And Solo never would have been made. Episode 9 would have been completely different. All that. It would have been, I would have made a huge apology to the fans. I would have done all of that. Because this is what they did is just destroying Star Wars. But the problem, right, the problem that they have right now is that if they replace Kathleen Kennedy with Jon Favreau and they do another trilogy of movies and Jon Favreau pays 100% attention to what fans are more expecting, no identity politics, no social justice messaging, all that is gone, and it's just pure Star Wars, and these movies make $2 to $3 billion a piece, then the disgrace of Kathleen Kennedy will come to full fruition. I mean, if you all suddenly, but see, that's where Disney's stuck, right? They can't let Jon Favreau come in and make a good movie. They're going to, I think Disney would actually forcibly sabotage themselves, because if Jon Favreau makes incredible films that suddenly explode to over $3 billion in the box office with each movie, then they would know for sure that the problem was Kathleen Kennedy, and they don't want to, disrespect a woman who was in that position, right? They can't, Hollywood can't do that. They can't call her bad because, I mean, if she were a man and did all these same things, I would be saying the same things. I would be saying, get that person out of there. I don't care if you're a man or a woman, right? That I don't care about. But because they've propped her up as a woman, saying, oh, she's, even the beginning of this article, right? She's the most powerful woman in it. No, she's probably the most hated by fans in the whole fandom menace thing. But, so that's going to be Disney's problem going forward. Jon Favreau takes over, makes huge movies that disrespect to Kathleen Kennedy, and how it'll expose how horrible she ran Star Wars. So I think Disney may have to sabotage themselves because they're so into their social justice messaging and identity politics that they're going to completely sabotage themselves if that happens. Because they can't have a man do it better than a woman. They can't. Hollywood cannot do that. So there you go. God, that looks. Oh, I can't even stand that. Just can't. It's crazy. All right. Well, this has been a very long video breaking down this article, and I think we can see it's got so many lies in it, and so it's. I wouldn't think that Rolling Stone would come at her with any kind of hard questions or hard anything, or be able to, kick back and say, well, about, like the we don't have comic books or 800-page novels, even though there's, thousands and thousands of them out there that you could pull from if you wanted to. But I don't think that Rolling Stone was going to kick back and push back on that, because it's more of just a puff piece and just full of lies. How do you live in this world where, everybody says yes and whatever you want kind of thing, that's not real life. So, all right. Well, thanks for watching this. Remember to like, share, subscribe, and do that for all your other small YouTube channels. And this was kind of long, but I had to do it. I had to get through the whole thing and just kind of expose everything that it was. All right. Well, thanks for watching this one. Take care.